if this movie leaned into the camp, if Lee Tamahori had the foresight to be like, this movie's actually probably going to be kind of goofy, but instead, like, because here, and here's the difference.
No, he was thinking this movie's going to be badass.
Exactly.
But Charlie has a point.
Let me make my point. My point being that, like, if I feel sorry for anybody, and again, this comes from me rewatching Diamonds Are Forever, where the whole time Sean Connery is well aware of how ridiculous that movie is.
Yeah.
Sean Connery is having so much fun.
Because he's going to play golf every night.
Exactly. And then Pierce Brosnan.
That's all he's doing.
Poor Pierce Brosnan. All I can imagine is Pierce being up against a green screen as he's surfing. He's giving it his all. Little does he know that in the future, he's going to be sitting at the premiere being like, this is what
did I just
did with
sign
my
up for?
performance.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I think of X-Men Origins Wolverine, where Hugh Jackman interviews. He's like, we thought we were making a good movie. Like, Hugh Jackman's there giving it his all. Pierce Brosnan's there giving it his all. And like, I always think of that shot where Pierce pulls the parachutes. He was just like on a green screen thinking this is going to be awesome. And it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, poor Pierce. The whole thing is like, you write a script, right? You write a script and you hope that it's going to be made into something awesome. But what it comes down to is that in the filmmaking process, you have all these different people handling all these different jobs. And if any one job isn't fulfilled entirely, it risks the entire project. McCurdy, you and I know this well, which is that you hope that all these roles are everybody's bringing it, but all it takes is that bad editor, that bad director, that bad set designer, whatever it may be. I mean, even down to like, if the set for the Ice Palace had been better, I might like this movie more. And it's hard to put my finger on it exactly. I think it's just too bright and gaudy. I just don't like it. I don't like looking at it. I understand that practically it was built out of plastic. You know, it's not real ice. Duh.
Vodka martini. Plenty of ice, if you can spare it.
But the way it's lit, it still looks like plastic. So it just kind of comes across as to me. Everything about Iceland is the opposite of Korea and Cuba. The cinematography is just like a little bit too unrealistic.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's like two different movies. I cannot fault the first act. I can't fault it. I think it's great. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Like another revenge tale for Bond. You know me with my personal stakes. Like, Bond is off. He's not a 00 anymore.
He's stripped of his 00.
He's not a 00, and he's going to go get revenge. But not just revenge for the sake of revenge, but more specifically to reestablish his credibility as a 00.
The same person who set me up then has just set me up again to get Zhao out. So I'm going after him.
The only place you're going is our evaluation center in the Falklands. 00 status rescinded.
I'm
He's
like
been tortured
on board
for a year.
And then Halle Berry shows up and I'm like, I guess it's okay. And this is what I mean. This is what I meant by my opening, where it's like little decisions start to add up to eventually you're like, I'm in a fucking cartoon. How did I get here? That's what's so depressing about the movie, because the intention was clearly to make a serious film. And by the end, you're like, this is a farce.
What you're saying is that this movie could have benefited from leaning into the campiness and being like, we're gonna celebrate all of the campiness of Bond.
We're gonna go crazy.
But because you're saying the beginning of this movie is still kind of stuck in the world of the previous three movies,
The whole movie has the intent of being serious. The first act, they nailed with the seriousness.
Yeah.
But then as the movie goes on, like I said, if they could have made the movie and then watched the movie and then made the movie again, they would have been like, oh, this is going to be a joke.
Yeah. It's going to be a jokey movie.
So the difference is this. Diamonds Are Forever is a comedy. I laugh the whole time I'm watching. I don't laugh a single time in Die Another Day. There isn't a moment where I laugh.
Your new transportation.
The only exception, of course, being the Q scene, but those are pretty much always comedic.
Maybe you've been down here too long.
And especially now, since Q is a comedian.
You know, you're cleverer than you look.
Still better than looking cleverer than you are. Follow me, please.
I should be cheering, and I mean, there are moments where I smile, like in the beginning, when the 00 sees Bond and Bond takes his glasses.
Look, what is this? I'm supposed to...
That puts a smile on my face, but for the rest of the movie, I'm not laughing. I might be enjoying some of the action.
I enjoy the car stuff.
But like when I watch Diamonds Are Forever, I'm laughing from beginning to end. The jokes actually land because they were meant to be jokes.
I'm afraid you've caught me with more of my hands up.
Connery's having a blast. Meanwhile, Brosnan thinks he's in a serious film. Blofeld's probably my favorite Blofeld for the same reason. He's fun.
Yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever is shameless. It's ridiculous. Most importantly, it's self-aware, and it leans into that really hard.
You just killed James Bond.
Is that who it was?
Die Another Day is unaware that it's a farce, and it's not funny at all. I never laugh once. Diamonds Are Forever is complete in that sense, while Die Another Day feels like it's two movies mashed into one, and it's unfortunate. I really wish they would. The smart thing would have been like, hey, guys, this movie's probably gonna, it's like shaping up to be pretty ridiculous. Let's like really lean into the camp. Let's like fill it with jokes and all that. None of the jokes land. All the jokes are lame.
There's a particular scene in this movie that always baffles me. Every time I've watched it.
The
I'm
valve?
Like,
is it the valve?
No, hold on.
Valve?
Okay.
Global warming is a terrible thing.
Global warming is a terrible thing.
The way he's standing when he delivers that line,
like-
too.
he's
He's
like
like,
this,
I'm so cool.
Yeah.
Why is he posing when he says that line?
It's so
Why?
stupid.
Because his
Is
mom
Lee
was there.
Tomei?
His mom was like, it'd be really
Maggie
cool,
Smith
son.
was like,
Global
if you-
warming
if you
is a
did
terrible
this-
thing. Why? Why?
Yeah.
Charlie, to your point, I get it. It's not
Yeah.
that I don't get it. I just don't think this movie, because this is notoriously like one of the worst Bond films. Like
Yeah.
it always gets to the very bottom of the list. And there's a part of me that's like, I don't think this is the worst one, just because the execution and a lot of the other aspects of the film is not the worst. It's not a top tier movie. It's not a mid tier. It's definitely in the bottom.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's the very bottom, because
And I agree
think
with
it
you.
definitely rises above some aspects
You
of the
only live
movie.
twice.
And that's where I'm like, I feel like it's Moonraker level in a lot of respects, because it's like, it doesn't do a lot of bullshit where, I mean, we do have a needle drop in this movie, but that needle drop actually works.
London calling to the underground.
That's a great
works.
song.
It's
That's a great
not
song.
just the song works, because like the last one was Beach Boys and it's just out of place because he's surfing, but he's in the Arctic and it just feels like, what?
Yeah,
Put
according
Beach
to
Boys
you.
to him on the CGI tsunami.
This one, at least, it fits within. He's coming back to London. I mean, it's actually become a cliche by this point where a character will come back to London and they'll play that song. But it works really well here. Let me put it this way. I think this movie gets a lot of flack, and I don't think it's necessarily warranted. Like, there's part of me that was like, I kind of enjoy this movie, kind of like this movie a little bit, but it's not that good.